welcome to Armchair. This is our second episode. Today I have, again, Dr. Simon David and myself. I'm Dr. Chance Brandon. We are discussing American history today. In particular, we're talking about the Scandinavian Viking impact on America.
Modern America.
Modern, yeah. So I guess, I think the first thing that we really need to talk about here that is probably the most significant point of this entire sub-history is the fjords. I'm thinking that a lot of people, obviously I know everything there is to know about Scandinavian culture, but a lot of people at home, might not know what a fjord is. Could you enlighten us on that?
Right, a fjord is a high plateau followed by a deep ravine, which is carved out for burial rituals, farming, basically any kind of need. It also serves as a fortress. Now, what happens is when the British invaded America in the late 1800s, the fjords are what basically kept us afloat and actually helped us.
Yes, and nowadays, isn't it true that they use fjord technology to act as a kiln for baking pottery?
That is true.
That is true.
Paul.
Yeah, my name's Chance.
Chance. They bake the pottery down in the fjord. They make artwork there. They use it for anything you can think of. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. A fjord is
the fjords they brought over to America. And they showed it to the Native Americans. Is that true?
Right. They showed it to the Native Americans. Okay. They bred with the Native Americans. Actually, I'm 30% Nord, 20% Native American, and 75% American, so I'm about a third of each.
Yes.
And then,
understand this, yeah.
So my grandpa was actually, he built dragon ships.
Oh yes, are we talking about the Grokstads now?
The Grokstads, the silk dragon.
The silk dragon shirts and
the ships.
The ships that the Vikings would have sailed on when they came from Sweden and Norway,
England.
When they came from England, they landed in America. Well, at least what now is America, and
then you remember in the '90s when the silk dragon shirts kind of came back. That was the second generation.
That was a delayed reaction to
cultural
reaction
revolution
to the original Grokstads that the Vikings had sailed on.
Right.
So pretty impressive history right there already. And I think another thing that we really need to touch upon is agriculture. The natives,
the Neolithic Revolution, as you remember.
The Neolithic Revolution. I think the natives in America didn't know anything about land, and they didn't.
The Native Americans didn't know anything about land until Christopher Columbus. He comes, he brings the Nords, the Norwegians, the Swedes,
Christopher Columbus teamed up with the Vikings.
Right. The first meal was Christopher Columbus.
It was Chris Columbus, Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson, one of the original Vikings.
Yes, Eric the Red, and who's that? Chief Sitting Bull.
Chief Sitting Bull. They had the first Thanksgiving, which
the four of them actually went bowling that night.
Well, it was different back then. It was more like deer antlers, pushing them down.
And we're back with Armchair, where we're discussing the Scandinavian Viking impact on America. Now I think it's time we get into some specifics, people or cultural events or things that really tie into this sort of a large history.
It's a rich history. It's a very rich history. It's
deep history here. I think it's largely overlooked in academia, which is a shame. But I did my thesis for my first doctorate on this topic myself. I don't know what because you were at Stanford, right? You went to Stanford for
I went to Stanford for a weekend and some of the foreign exchange students.
Yes.
Most of my research.
Where were they from? Those foreign students that you were hanging with?
Israel.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Some kind of.
What was your research though? So you were at Stanford, you were just hanging out. But what did you research while you were there for that weekend?
Mostly mating rituals, but beyond that, I mean, most of my research was done on Wikipedia. But because Scandinavia is such a small pocket of the Middle East, most people don't care about the Middle East. They say, well, these people are just oil tyrants, and you have to go in there.
I'm very familiar with this because and it just is such a deep, rich history. The Vikings' impact on America, deep and rich.
So rich.
It's like a nice. It's like a delicacy in history.
In history, it's one of the
delicacy. It's like caviar for history. And I think we should talk about individuals that share in this bloodline sort of connection. When the Scandinavian Vikings came to America, and there was a little intermingling with the natives.
Interbreeding.
Little hands-on.
Let's talk about these. What do we got?
People that are direct descendants of Eric the Red.
Yes.
He's kind of the
direct
father of the bloodline. He's the father of the bloodline.
Yes, because he was. He killed the most Christians, I think.
And Native Americans.
He
also bred with the most.
Then he intermingled. So let's talk about this.
Great grandson is George Bush. Now.
Okay.
Also Henry Rollins.
Black Flag. Yes, Henry Rollins. Now he's
he's a purebred.
Purebred.
Nord.
He oils his thighs on the weekends, and I think that's a Scandinavian thing. I've seen him do this.
Okay. Mark Twain.
All of his books were actually just short stories.
Viking folklore.
Short stories that his Viking
Norse
great grandmothers would tell him.
Right, like the name Huck Finn really actually means Nord warrior.
Nord warrior, and it's referencing Finland. If you didn't catch that, I think a lot of
Finn.
I think
Huck Finn. It gets by a lot of people.
It gets by a lot of people, but I think we got some smart audience members out there. I think they caught that one too. Obviously, we knew though because we're deep in the
seasoned,
rich history.
Joseph McCarthy.
People might remember him for the great Red Scare.
Right.
The
political agenda in the 1960s.
Sort of the panic, the Red Panic.
Yeah. One of the worst eras in modern American history.
One of the worst, top 10 worst eras in American history, I would say. But nonetheless, directly related to Eric the Red. Actually. Direct descendant. Unbelievable.
Schwarzenegger.
A great American. For sure, a great American.
Politician.
And did you know that he actually oils his thighs with Henry Rollins?
They use that same thigh oil.
They do. They share from the same tub. Unreal.
That is unreal. Such a rich culture. Bodybuilding is actually also a Norse tradition. They used to lift the mast of the dragoon.
Yes, that's right. They take the dragoon. I'm Dr. Chance Brandon.
And I'm Simon David.
Come have a seat in the armchair with us next time.